So now how do we heal? How do we help
Yeah.
the Black mom?
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. And that everything you said was so perfectly stated. And I think that, something that I found is really important for Black moms, and I hope that any allies watching this also serves you too in better understanding the plight of Black women. But Black women globally are the most underserved group of people in the world, the most underserved, the most disregarded, the most undervalued, the most undersupported and underfunded. And so, a lot of the work that I do specifically in the wellness world is related to helping women of color heal generational trauma. So, a quick background on what generational trauma is: it is the trauma that has been passed down for centuries. Now, this goes as a whole for the Black community, but for today, I'm going to speak through the lens of just women. So, generational trauma is the experience that has embedded itself into our DNA. So, dating all the way back to slavery, when you had women who were being raped, women who were being beaten, women who were being overworked, you had women who were having their children ripped away from them. The level of grief, the level of post-traumatic stress that created in them, that they then went on to pass down to their children and every generation that followed. All of that grief, all of that pain exists inside of each one of us. No matter if we feel it or are in observance of it every day, no matter if we know it's there or know our history, the function of how it is operated inside of us, it exists on a cellular level. It also exists in our minds, and it exists in our hearts. So we carry a large amount of grief on top of all the other experiences and lessons that we learn in this lifetime. So from a spiritual perspective, it's believed that we all come into this world and we take form as, spirits or souls in our human embodiment. And we're given a certain amount of spiritual curriculum, right? The basics, like what are the lessons we're meant to learn? What are the things that we're meant to figure out or change or grow in ourselves? If you're a Black woman globally, but especially in America, having lived through slavery, having lived through segregation, Jim Crow, everything else, then you experience not just your spiritual curriculum and your life lessons, but you are also compounded on top of that, one, from the generational trauma and the grief that sits in you, and then secondly, from complex post-traumatic stress. So CPTSD is different than PTSD and regular anxiety in that it is pain that's renewed daily based on systemic oppression. So if you are a Black mother or Black woman, you are in this world doing your best and trying as best as you can to heal, but every single day that you exist in this world, pain, lack of service, lack of support, violence, every possible system that's in place to oppress is oppressing you. And so that pain is renewed daily. Those experiences are never able to be healed because the scabs are constantly being ripped off. So something that I think is incredibly important, we know for sure that as we make these incremental changes and strides in society, that's a journey. So how can we have relief and joy and peace now in this moment? I think one, it's incredibly important that we know our histories. I think it's incredibly important that we expand our emotional depth of language and really begin to identify what exactly it is we're feeling in real time so that we can dissolve it. And so one of those things, and I especially hope that any allies that are joining us this morning really sit with this next piece I'm about to say and explore it even after we end this beautiful day together. The idea of a forced resilience. This stereotype that has been embedded in our culture is strong Black woman. Yes, Black women are strong. They're the strongest that I know in existence. But a lot of the reason that we carry that amount of strength is because of a forced resilience. We have never been allowed to feel. We've never been allowed to process. And so that's an important thing that we observe in ourselves and we look to dissolve to a certain degree so that we can extend to our children a new level of wholeness. We can extend to our children a new level of healing and opportunity to be free to feel whatever it is they feel so they can process it and move through it. Now, that forced resilience came into play for all of us because we were always forced to work. We were always forced to, in many situations, be the heads of our households because of systemic racism, because of incarceration, because of murder, because of violence. And so when you are trying to raise your child, when you are trying to keep going and survive, you don't get to process your pain. So one, I think it's really important that we identify what is our resilience, what is our strength, really, what's the background narrative behind it, and is there opportunity for us to be more gentle with ourselves? Is there opportunity for us to extend more compassion to ourselves and the other women in our communities and the other moms? I think the next biggest thing that I want to walk through with the time that I have left is how important it is, no matter what resources you have, where you live, or how much time you have access to really be diligent about creating a spiritual practice. And if spiritual feels like a little too heavy of a word, creating a daily routine that's in service to yourself. So what that means is you would be looking to spend time with yourself, hitting on the 4 pillars of wholeness, which are the mental, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. Those 4 components. When those 4 components are in alignment, that allows us to remember our state of wholeness and have access, no matter what we're experiencing, no matter what's happening in the world, what anxiety we feel in our own hearts and minds. It gives us the opportunity to still access joy, to still access peace. And I want to really strive to say that is the area we are looking to cultivate and develop versus looking to load ourselves with more ideas of how to be resilient. We don't need more resilience. We need more opportunities to be gentle and compassionate with self, and more opportunities to develop systems in place in our own being that allow us to stand in the depths of our full authenticity as women. So what that could look like for you is carving out, whether this means, and I know for some people it's like, hey, my life is really busy. I'm working. I have children. There are so many demands on me. We can still, even in that, and I promise you, we can still find moments for ourselves. Sometimes it means switching some things around. Sometimes it means, not watching that 20 or 30-minute show to wind it down from your day, or not scrolling Instagram. We have to find ways to, like Tetris, kind of fit this in where it goes. But whether you have 15 minutes a day, ideally in the morning, or 30 or 45, or some people may luxuriate with an hour at some point in the day, filling it with things that represent those 4 pillars of wholeness for additional peace and for additional joy in your life. That's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. So what that can look like is, and I'll share with you a little bit of what my practice is. In the mornings, usually my kid is 2 and he's wild. So he likes to pop up usually around 5 a.m., which is not my fave, but he gets up, and usually what I do is I'll either wake up a little bit earlier, depending on when he wakes up between 5 and 6, or I'll find a way to sandwich this in mid-morning after we've gotten our day started. But every day for me looks like, even if I only have 15 minutes, I'm meditating for at least 5 minutes. Sitting still, being quiet. I know for a lot of people, this seems impossible. I assure you, it becomes so normal. And the only reason it feels difficult is because you're not used to spending time with yourself in this way. So surrender to that. If you feel like you need to open your eyes while you meditate, do it, but still hold strong on that promise to yourself, that commitment of being still and being silent. I then like to spend lots of time doing affirmations, really fully loaded affirmations that honor and serve the area of my life I'm looking to enhance. So that could mean you can do affirmations about abundance, about peace, about healing trauma, about moving forward, about being more joyful, having more intention for what you want to manifest in yourself. Because every time we heal ourselves, every time we give ourselves permission to be authentic in this way, to be powerful in this way as women and moms, we extend that ability to our kids. It's not enough to just tell our kids the right things to do. They have to see and find love for themselves based on how we see and love ourselves. Your children learn confidence not just from the way you pour into them verbally, but they learn confidence, they learn self-acceptance, they learn self-love from watching you in your daily routine of how you treat yourself, the time and the healthy boundaries that you set for yourself, and how you show up in the world for other people and for yourself. So meditation, huge. Affirmations, huge for me. I also love, love, love to do some simple body stretches when I can. I think it's really important that we show ourselves compassionate physical touch. You know, like even if it's just like giving yourself a little shoulder rub when you wake up, taking time to close your eyes and just feel deeply set inside of your body and move and shift and stretch, doing yoga postures, doing whatever you feel most comfortable with in your body, taking a bath if you have the time, right? Sometimes just being very deliberate as you put on your lotion for the day and just taking time to really notice your body, thank your body for all it's done and all it's been through. I think also, so I said meditation, affirmation, stretching, and then two other things that are really important for me to my day are journaling. And that doesn't have to mean you're sitting down with paper saying, "Dear diary, today," you know, it could also just mean jotting down bullet points of thoughts that have come to you, downloads from spirit that have come to you, dreams, wishes for yourself, something you're just starting to process. It can be really simple, but it's so important that you document your thoughts and your heart as you are growing, as you are healing, as you are showing up for your children as the best version of you possible. And the last thing that I find to be really nourishing for myself is taking time to read a few pages every day from a soul nourishing book. And that can be whatever it means to you. For some people, it could be the Bible. For some people, it could be, you know, a self advancement book, a personal enhancement book, you know, and you don't have to sit and luxuriate and read chapter after chapter. But if you can commit to maybe 2, 3, 4 pages a day, that is more than enough. So I just strongly suggest whatever that looks like for you, build out a sacred space in your home, a little corner, a windowsill, maybe the nightstand by your bed that's just for you, that you decorate with things that mean something to you, that matter. For me, it's crystals, it's pictures of my family, it's a family Bible that was passed down, and it's other books that are important to me, and a journal. For you, it can be whatever that looks like. And just really being deliberate about dedicating to yourself a minimum of 15 minutes, all the way up to an hour if you have it, every single day at some point. Morning is ideal, but at some point, and investing in yourself that time to nourish your heart, nourish your mind, nourish your body, nourish your soul. I guarantee you joy will follow. I guarantee you peace will follow. Commit to that for yourself. Invest that in yourself. You cannot do anything for your children if you are not healthy and whole. And that's the best gift you could ever give to your child, more than any education, more than any toy, more than anything, is teaching them emotional literacy and showing them how to show up for themselves. So thank you guys so much for sharing this time with me. I'm so grateful.